This
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this online One Health training. This is the second day, and today we have again the second opportunity to Dr. Chuko to give us his presentation. As Randa said, please keep your microphones off while the speaker is talking. Please, there are two more open. If you want, thank you. Thank you, last one. Okay. Aminu, if you want to present Dr. Ochuko, then we let him to speak. Thank you.
Okay, Professor. Thank you very much. I think since we have already presented Doctor yesterday, so I'll just say, I'll just maybe give an overview and welcome you all to day 2 of our One Health training, which is part of the activities of the One Health Awareness Month. Yesterday, we were able to take a wonderful presentation from Mr. Majid. Yeah, so, but unfortunately, Dr. Ochuko was not able to complete his presentation, which we will have today, God's grace. So we are going to start, of course, with Dr. Ochuko quickly before Dr. Muhammad and Dr. Randa will come forward for their presentation later on. So, Doctor, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. I want to apologize for the network problem of yesterday, but notwithstanding, we will go ahead with the presentation today. I'm going to make a presentation of food safety in One Health approach, animal health perspective. Without wasting much of our time, there's a brief introduction of One Health. I believe we're all familiar with what One Health is. It's just a holistic approach that is integrating human, animal, and environmental health into one because of the serious threats that humanity is facing. Even the environment is facing serious threats. So there's a need for this great call of One Health. The animal health in the One Health framework, it will interest each and every one of us to know that more than 75% of diseases that are affecting humans are zoonotic diseases. And what are zoonotic diseases? Zoonotic diseases, they are those diseases that are transmitted from animals to humans, and they cause serious problem in humans. And these diseases, they include avian influenza, Ebola, Salmonella, E. coli, COVID-19 pandemic. We have other parasitic diseases, Cryptosporidium, and a host of other diseases that are affecting humans. And these diseases, they are gotten from animals. And this training is very critical because since animals are the reservoirs of more than 75% of these diseases, and these animals are being consumed as food, which call for the food safety, which is one of the reasons why we are gathered for this training. You see, understanding and monitoring these diseases is crucial. And why is this crucial? To prevent outbreaks of these diseases in humans, and also to prevent transmission through contaminated food products. You see, understanding how these diseases in animals can impact human health through the food chain is very essential, and that is why food safety is very critical. And so we are looking at it from the animal health perspective. You see, food safety and animal health. The health of animals directly impact the safety of the food supply. And this is because, like I said, the food chain is made up of various segments. And when you are looking at animal protein, they are being consumed by humans. And so there's a need for this animal protein to be safe for consumption. You see, healthy animals, they are essential because they will produce safe and wholesome food products in form of meat from beef, cattle, from goats, sheep that are being consumed in various parts of the world. We also have food products in the form of eggs that are being consumed by humans, and these are gotten from poultry. We also have other animals that are being consumed like rabbits, grass cutter, and a host of others. So monitoring and ensuring the well-being of animals is critical to prevent contamination and disease transmission through the food chain. And we are looking at the animal health perspective in this our training today because animal protein is very crucial to the health of humans. Because studies have been carried out on some vegetarians, which are people who consume only vegetables. It has been discovered that some of them they are at risk of developing leukemia because some of the amino acids that are needed for the human body are not found in these plants, rather they are found in animals. And so these animals are being consumed in the form of food. So whenever we are looking at animal health perspective, we have to emphasize on the roles of veterinarians. Veterinarians, they are specialists who play key role in the health and welfare of animals. And they are at the forefront of preventing and controlling disease in animals. And once they are able to control and prevent this disease in animals, it will safeguard human health. And so there's a need for collaboration, even though animals are involved. There are need for collaborations between medical practitioners, environmental experts, together with these veterinarians to address health challenges effectively, especially from the aspect of animals. Like I said from the introductory part of this lecture, that more than 75% of diseases in humans are gotten from animals and they enter humans through the food chain, which is very critical. So we are going to look at the food safety challenges from the farm to table perspective, which comprise the food production chain. While we talk about farm to table perspective, we are looking at how animals are being raised on the farm to the point of slaughter, and then they are being transferred for consumption by humans. You see, when animals are raised on the farm, they are being given treatment so that they will stay healthy. And the essence of this health of animals is so that eventually when these animals are consumed, they tend to not pose any risk to humans. We also have pathogens and contaminants in animals, and they could
Professor,
be a source of foodborne illness.
sorry, Professor. Your presentation is not evolving. Have
Well,
locked. The screen is locked. It's on the organizing icon.
can you see my screen now?
Yes, yes. Now, yes. Thank you.
Okay,
Sorry for
okay,
interruption.
no problem. So we are looking at the challenges, food safety challenges. We talk about antimicrobial residues. It will interest you to know that in recent time, there's a war against antimicrobial resistance, and this antimicrobial resistance results from antimicrobial use or irrational use of antimicrobial agents or antibiotics in animals. And this irrational use comes from the fact that animals are being given antimicrobials or antibiotics or drugs or medications without prescription from a veterinarian. And farmers, they normally do this practice just to ensure the welfare of their animals. And in doing that, these antimicrobials tend to reside inside the tissues of the animals, which eventually, when these animals are consumed as meat, it also resides in humans. And the implication of this is that as these antimicrobials tend to accumulate in humans as they pass from the animals, over time, by the time these humans come down with diseases, which naturally this antimicrobial is supposed to take care of, the organism will not respond to that antimicrobial, and the issue of antimicrobial resistance will come into play. And it's a very serious issue. If we look at the history of methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus, it's as a result of the indiscriminate use of antibiotics in animals. And when these meats are consumed, it becomes a problem in humans. So to tackle these challenges, we should ensure that hygiene and biosecurity measures at each stage minimize the risk of contamination. Also, there should be responsible use of antimicrobials which give rise to withdrawal period. I would like to let us know that there's what we call withdrawal period in animals, especially for food animals, cattle, sheep, goats, pigs, and a host of others. Whenever antimicrobials are given to these animals, maybe when they are sick, there's a period we call withdrawal period, and this period is a time in which it is believed that the antimicrobial has been eliminated from the body, and when that animal is eventually slaughtered, it is safe for human consumption. That is, the humans who consume that meat after the withdrawal period are not at a risk of getting these antimicrobial residues in them, and this will also prevent them from getting the antimicrobial resistance. So let us know one risk that is being practiced by farmers as a challenge in food safety. It's a common practice in certain areas, especially developing countries, even like Nigeria, where farmers they are in the practice of slaughtering sick animals for consumption. This is a serious risk and a serious challenge for food safety. Because when sick animals are being slaughtered for consumption, we don't know what the problem is with the animals. These animals might be sick from these zoonotic diseases, which may eventually cause problem once these animals are consumed as meat. So it's a serious problem. And also, I would like to admonish people should know that the responsible use of antimicrobials is critical, and also the withdrawal period should be taken note of. We are going to look at case studies. The mad cow disease. Mad cow disease is a disease in cattle. Then we have the Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease in humans. It is believed that this Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease in humans was contracted as a result of consuming meat of cow or beef cattle that has been infected by this mad cow disease. And the Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease is a deadly disease in humans. Look at salmonella in poultry, which is a serious problem in the poultry industry. That is chicken, turkeys, guinea fowls. Once these animals are sick and they are consumed, humans are also at the risk of human salmonellosis. And there could be some recombinant mutation of the organism that can result in salmonella infection in humans. Look at the avian influenza, especially the highly pathogenic avian influenza. The first report of highly pathogenic avian influenza in Nigeria was in 2006. And during that period, people have this belief that those chickens that are being infected by this disease, they could be boiled, and once they are boiled, the virus is killed. But it is not true, because they believe that this virus cannot infect humans. But recently in China, in Japan, in Korea, it has been reported that avian influenza has infected humans. Look at the FMD, which is foot and mouth disease. This foot and mouth disease affects the safety of meat, because once it affects any cattle, the cattle cannot be slaughtered because of the disease effect on the body of the cattle. Look at antimicrobial resistance in livestock, and it will cause antimicrobial residue in humans when humans consume the meat. Then we also have contamination in seafood, and this contamination in seafood has resulted in serious problems in humans, which some have not even found solution to. I will give you an experience of when I was in Akwa Ibom State doing surveillance activities for disease in humans and animals. There are a group of people who are sick. Even the medical personnel could not figure out what the problem was. But from just few discussions with them, we were able to find out that they consume a lot of seafood that are improperly cooked. And consumption of the improperly cooked food which contain some of these organisms, they have been transmitted into the humans and they became sick. So now, looking at all this food safety from the animal health perspective and considering the One Health approach, what is the way forward? The way forward, like I said from the introductory part of this lecture, there is need for collaboration across disciplines. And when in this collaboration, there should be attention on the food production chain, especially for animals, beef, cattle, sheep, goats, pigs, poultry, guinea fowl, turkeys. Depending on anyone that is being consumed, there should be attention on the food production chain from the farm to the table perspective. From the farm, ensure that healthy animals are on the farm and sick animals are not slaughtered. There should be surveillance, and this surveillance will let us know that there is a disease. The disease will be detected early enough. Also, consumers should be educated and given awareness so that whenever there's an outbreak of any disease in animals, consumers will not tell you that by the time you cook, this disease will be killed or the disease agent will be killed. Most importantly, there should be a regulatory framework, and this framework has to come from our government. Government should pass a legislation such that sick animals should not be slaughtered, and any farmer or any marketer who is found slaughtering sick animals should be made to face the law. And I strongly believe that with the help of this collaboration across disciplines, the safety of meat will be guaranteed in the One Health approach through the animal health perspective. Thank you very much for listening, for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor. It was awesome, your explanation.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation of yours. Ladies and gentlemen, if we have any question, can you please raise up your hand so that we can you can mute and you can unmute and ask your question, or if you can drop them on the chat box, Dr. Randa will read them out for us. So questions, please. Okay. We have Joseph. Can you please unmute and ask your questions?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ochuko, for that nice presentation on food safety. I only had one question or just a trigger. In our setup where antimicrobials are actually being dispensed over the counter, I don't know which mechanism that we can use so that we can minimize the use of antibiotics in the food chain to safeguard human and animal health. Because I've seen in developed countries, there are always restrictions in terms of accessing antibiotics. And sometimes they have gone to the extent where they have the organic produced animals where there is no use of antibiotics completely. If they inject an animal with antibiotic, treatment can only be done once or twice. Beyond that, then the animal ceases now to be organic. But in our setup where antimicrobials are actually dispensed and controlled, which mechanism do you think we can imply practically to control antimicrobial resistance and guarantee food safety? Thank you.
Thank you. Can I go ahead to respond to that, or another question is coming?
Go ahead, please, Doctor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that wonderful question. Okay, in any environment where antimicrobial is not really controlled, I think the best approach in that kind of environment is awareness. The energy should be channeled on awareness on the danger of indiscriminate use or irrational use of antimicrobials. Because I believe when there's awareness, people will get to know the implication of using antibiotics without prescription or using antibiotics with no control. So I believe in such setting, awareness, strict awareness, and the energy should be channeled toward awareness. I believe with that, the food safety with respect to the antimicrobial residues will be taken care of. It's proper awareness. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we have. Let me check. We have Dr. Linda. Please unmute and ask your question.
Good evening, colleagues.
You're welcome.
I am Dr. Linda. My question goes to the issue of the policy frameworks. I believe we already have some of the policy frameworks in place. How best can we put them into action? Because sometimes we are there is this culture of just developing these policies and it is shelved. So how best can it be implemented?
Thank you. Thank you. Well, before I answer that your question, I'll give you just a little experience. I was part of a surveillance team under this regional disease surveillance in West Africa, in Nigeria, and I was posted to the Ministry of Agriculture in Akwa Ibom State. And what you're actually saying is a serious problem because the issues from regulatory framework, the offenders are actually those people who are part of the regulatory framework. So the thing is, if you really want to get it right, those who are involved in the regulation should start following the rules. They should start following the rules because it's actually a serious Herculean task. Because when people who are supposed to enforce or create the law are the ones also breaking it. So it's a serious problem. But like I said, these policies they are already in place. Awareness will play a critical role, even to those, because some of them might be doing it as if they are not aware or they are ignorant of the danger. But by the time energy is being channeled towards awareness, I believe that there might be a change, a turning around, and a change of mind towards following what is supposed to be followed to ensure that the food safety is guaranteed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Just to add to what you said, actually that is very, very correct because recently in one of the states here, there was this hunting day or something. So hunters just came out, went and started hunting for bushmeat, and then the person that brought back the biggest meat was given money and other rewards by the government, the same government that we are supposed to make the laws and everything. So this is very, very correct. And thank you very much for that. I hope, Dr. Linda, you are okay.
Yes, thanks for that.
Okay,
Okay, you're
you're
welcome.
welcome. Randa, do we have any question from the chat box?
Yeah,
I don't think.
uh,
Okay.
yes, dear, please, if you wish, go ahead and read it.
Oh, sorry, can you read it out
Yeah,
because I'm facing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, okay. So, also we have another question from waiting from for name. Unfortunately, we don't have the name of the attendee who would like to ask you. Who are the key stakeholders that should be sensitized on use of antibiotics in animal value chains?
Okay.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Thank you very much. The key stakeholders, let's take a very good scenario from the farm to table perspective. We'll look at the key stakeholders there from the farmer. The farmer is one, and all the farmer and all other people who are involved in the farm activity in looking after these animals. Then, secondly, the veterinarians are also a key stakeholder because I am a veterinarian with about 10 years in practice, and I know what some veterinarians do in the field. They just prescribe antibiotics because some of them are marketers. They want to sell their product. They just prescribe antibiotics to farmers to use. So the veterinarians are also key stakeholders who also need to be informed because some of them are doing it just because of they are looking for money. So they need to be informed if by adventure they have forgotten the training. So the farmers are also a key stakeholder. Then we look at the consumers, people who are buying this meat. You give them the awareness of antimicrobial misuse or irrational use. You give them the awareness, and also you tell them about the danger of consuming meat that contain this antimicrobial. So the consumers, they are also key stakeholders in this thing. Then also another very key stakeholders is the government, who are the helm of affairs. We need to let them know by continued sensitization, because the truth of the matter is, for anything to trend, it is being guided by policy and politics. So we have to keep that awareness so that the politics will get involved, then they'll be able to push the policy. And once they're able to push the policy, I believe, so we have looked at the farmers, the veterinarians, the consumers, and the government. These are key stakeholders involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Also, we have another question from the chat box from Timothy Wizonka. She would like to ask you that they have conducted a simulation exercise and they noted that the number of experts are not conversant with the regulatory stakeholders. How can we change the scenario? Also, I agree with her that we noticed that not only in her country, that I noticed that also in Jordan, that the experts are not conversant with the regulatory stakeholder. So thank you, Professor, and thank you, Timothy.
Please, can I get that again?
Yeah, she was asking that they had conducted a simulation exercise, and they noted that okay, and they noted that a number of experts are not conversant with the regulatory frameworks. So how can we change the scenario?
Okay, just like I said, everything still boils down to energy on sensitization and awareness. Everything still boils down to that. Probably the awareness is not there, or they are not informed, or there is ignorance. So once the energy, because I believe that once, if the bulk of the energy is channeled towards awareness and sensitization and education, everything will fall in place. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. Randa, do we have any other question as we are running out of time? I think.
Let me yes, there's another question from Ori Dixon. He or she are asking, could genetically modified organisms be part of antimicrobial resistant agents with the same implication to human consumption?
Yes and no. In the sense that while I say yes and no, there's a question mark to that. In the sense that, genetically modified organism, we have various means in which organisms are being modified genetically. That is where the issue will come from. Because to modify organisms, different techniques are involved, and antimicrobials could be one, because there's a use of combination therapy. So it depends on the organism that the genetic is being modified. Because to modify the genetic of an organism, different techniques in which antimicrobials are also part of what has been used to modify the genetics of an organism. So it is an issue. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doctor. I hope we are all okay. I think we are just going to move on actually. So if we have any questions, can we please save it maybe for later? Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you. We have
Thank
indeed learned a
you.
lot from you today. We are grateful. So moving on, we have Dr. Muhammad Ali Abdurrabbo, who is going to train us today on food safety in One Health approach. looking at the livestock industry perspective. So, Doctor is a veterinarian sales and technical manager, MENA region. He holds a PhD in food hygiene, safety, and quality control, and also holds an MBA. Wow. So, Doctor, if you are ready, the floor is all yours, please.
Thank you very much, Mino, for this introduction. Thank you, One Health Commission, for making me available to be with you today. Um, Let me share my screen. You can see it now. You can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay. Okay. The title of my presentation is "What You Eat Can Make You Sick." This is all about. You must watch what you put in your mouth because it will make you sick one day. So as long as you make a difference between food hygiene and food safety. Food hygiene refers to the practice and guidelines that ensure food is handled, prepared, and stored in a way that prevent foodborne illness and contamination. It's like we are playing football, so we agreed all that no one will touch this ball, and we only play it with our legs, not with our hands. This is the practice or the guidelines. But what type of the ball, what where we are going to play, how, which referee, linesman, etc. These are the food safety, which are the management system that's applied by a food business to ensure that potential hazards are controlled to acceptable levels. The food hygiene ensuring food safety and preventing foodborne health disease. Food hygiene is a set of food manufacturing practices that aim to minimize biological food hazards through safe and clean operation to protect public health from foodborne disease. Actually, my agenda today constitute or contain food hygiene and food safety. The difference we said before, food safety concern the microbial world. What about it? Does it help or not help with our food? Microbes and food, food spoilage, food poisoning and foodborne disease, prevention and control, most common bacterial foodborne illness. What is the major food? One of the major food safety concern is allergies. Some people have some allergies against eggs, milk, sea food, etc. It's a specific food are more likely to cause allergic reactions. The food hazards is different from allergies. Food hazards contamination of food. So this is not present in the food itself, but allergies are present in the food itself. Foodborne illness, contamination in food can make people sick. So we have the three categories, as you can see, for food safety concern. The food allergies, it's the responsibility of the person in charge of food establishment to be aware that food items may contain allergens. Like some people are lactose tolerant. Some people are having some sensitivity against wheat or corn products. So we must have ingredient label on the product to eliminate these persons or these sensitive persons to be eliminate or to take or consume these products. That's why all products distributed to clients must have an ingredient label. The food allergies, as you can see, The microbial world. We have different microbes that can interact with our food and our health, like viruses, non-living, non-cellular organisms that require a host to grow, bacteria, which is considered living single-celled organisms, fungi, single or multiple celled organisms, such as molds, yeasts, mushrooms, algae, which present in the sea, protozoa, which present in the guts of animals, parasites, which may be present in the guts of food hygienists or food workers, or even animals we are consuming. Microbes and foods. As we can see here in the slogan of this movie, this old movie, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Some of the microbes are good, some of them are bad, some are ugly. For the good, we have the fermentation. The fermentation process for our food is caused by bacteria or yeast or fungi, but we consider this a good bacteria or good organism for our food. That's why we say it the good guy. While we have the ugly one, which makes boilage, which is uncontrolled reaction of bacteria or fungi to our food nutritive values. The bad one, which causes pathogens like bacteria, viruses, fungi. So we have some interactions between the ugly one, which can cause pathogens or bad effect on our health, or if it is controlled enough, it will make food fermentation and will consider like manufacturing of some cheese, from some meat products, and so on. So let's see what's food spoilage. Food spoilage changes in food either through enzyme deterioration of food or microorganism growth will eventually lead to the food becoming inedible. Your food will not be edible again because the nutritive value is decreased and become unedible to human and unsafe if eaten. The rate of deterioration depends on a variety of factors which must be controlled carefully. Contaminants may be already present in the food, like salmonella, which come from chicken already, or transferred to the food by humans, flies, rodent, or other pests, or even the food workers. We can see just a small diagram to highlight the food-borne disease. We have two types: food poisoning or infection, and food intoxication. These are the terms of food-borne disease. Food poisoning is caused by variety of pathogen ingested with food itself. So, but food intoxication, either biological or chemical poisoning. So it's just a poisoning become or ingested with the food. The biological one may be from animal source or plant source, and the food intoxication microorganism, which is considered the most dangerous one due to the mycotoxins of microorganisms. The food infection or food intoxication, we have some difference. The cause of foodborne infection is the bacteria or virus. In case of intoxication is the toxin of the fungal or the bacteria. If there is a microorganism in both, no. In foodborne infection, the microorganism is present, and you can see it in the specimen. If you take a specimen from the GIT of infected patient, in case of intoxication, it will be negative. In case of symptoms, it will take from 8 to 24 hours, abdominal pain and diarrhea. In food intoxication, it is rapid because it is already you ingested the toxin itself. It takes about maximum 4 hours, and you feel nausea and vomiting. The duration of the course of the disease or the symptoms will be from 1 day to 3 days. Here, it will take only 1 day. Some susceptible factors can be cofactors or adherent can increase or decrease the causes or the duration, like the age, if young or old, the physiological status like pregnancy, or immunological compromised people, either due to hunger or some diseases. Fungal toxins like mycotoxins, and we here in One Health Commission, we talked before about mycotoxins and the hazards that being kept for human consumption, causing carcinogenic effect, kidney problem, liver dysfunction. It is potential series of health risks. Most of them are aflatoxin, ochratoxin, zearalenone or colzone, doxynivalenol or DON, and others may not known or detected, may reach about 400 types of mycotoxins. They spread easily in food chain by not watching the agriculture or cultivation programs. Prevention of fungal toxins, we have to look for the chain from the production until consumption through preparation. So we have to watch out for production, and as we go up, the risk is decreasing because it is minimized, and we have some additives that prevent mycotoxins and the fungal increase on our food. Product characteristics, if the food or the product characteristics or the food itself has high value or high nutritive value, this means that the risk is more worse, or it is risk assessment of worst case scenario. The bacterial characteristics, invasive bacteria or toxins releasing bacteria will make the scenario worse and more bad. We have to make some legalization or some law to follow to minimize the production of food with mycotoxins and to minimize the preparation of food with mycotoxins. We can also see some challenges and risks concerning the consumer for the same chain as we see production, preparation, and consumption. If there is new trend, natural or organic, less processed, if this food is less processed, this means high risk. Sustainability and packaging, less salt and less sugar, this will also increase the risk. No additive, this also will increase the risk. So all these factors can increase the risk, and more or potential more cases can happen. That's why we need more research and legalization for these factors. New challenges and risk like globalization. It's like a salad dish. When you making a salad dish, you can take the tomato from a country, and the watercress from another country, the cucumber from another country. You have to watch all these. You can see for all these countries have different regulation. We have to these regulatories and this regulation to be standardized. Bacterial prevalence differ widely between regions, so we can see or we can find a different bacteria from country to country. This making more hazards and more risk. The organism itself or the pathogen, emerging pathogens, is the pathogens are constant or they are moving and making more strategies against our antibiotics, against our disinfectant, against our additives, against even the organic one, like new bacteria like listeria or unknown. It was not unknown until 90s. Also, we have changed or all the bacteria that change itself, like EHEC bacteria, which produce Shigella toxin, STEC bacteria, which Escherichia coli, Shigella toxin producing also, EIEC, which is invasive or entero-invasive Escherichia coli, which is pathogenic bacteria. We have also new and more viruses like astrovirus. Astrovirus can cause disease or diarrhea to kids or adults over 65. Neve virus also. Adaptive bacteria, which can be adapted against antimicrobials or feed additives. Foodborne disease may result from poor domestic food preparation or poor food and processing in industry, including restaurants, cafe, and takeaways. This may result in loss of business and people's job if it is serious outbreak. So we have some cost losses also. Microorganisms occur naturally in the environment or in cereal or vegetables, fruit, animals, people, water, soil, even in air. Most bacteria are harmless, but a small number can cause illness. Food which is contaminated with food poisoning, microorganisms can look or taste and smell normal. We can detect the infected food or food poisoning disease in the food itself. We can see the causes of food poisoning disease or foodborne disease: microorganisms, the pathogenic bacteria, virus, certain types of molds, chemicals, the cleaning products, pesticides, antibiotics, metals, also like heavy metal, arsenic, cadmium, copper, zinc, tin, and lead. Natural poisons like red kidney beans, toadstools, berries. Physical contamination like glass, screw, and plastics. So as a food hygienist, you have to look for all these factors affecting the food poisoning. The preparation of the food too far in advance, so it is served in cold, not in ambient temperature. Storage at ambient temperature. Inadequate cooling before processing. Inadequate reheating before introduction. Undercooking if we didn't cook it in a suitable way. Inadequate sewing if we take it from the freezer. Factors also consuming raw food, and some cultures are consuming raw food, which make vulnerability to foodborne disease. Improper warm holding or holding hot food below 63 degrees. Infected food handlers or food processors themselves, the people who are making food, can be infect the food they are processing. Contaminated processed food, and poor hygiene. According to the food, some foods have high risk foods like meat products, poultry, milk and dairy products, eggs, or uncooked and lightly cooked, shellfish and seafood, prepared salads and vegetables, cooked rice and pasta. If these foods become contaminated with food poisoning or microorganisms and conditions allow them to multiply, the risk of food poisoning increase. We have an example here of lion mark hen eggs. The lion mark first introduced by the British egg marketing board in 57 in the last century, was relaunched again as a way of high quality egg, raw egg, as consumed as it is. Regarding the cost of the foodborne disease, we are challenging. We have household costs like self-protection. We must have some glasses, some disinfectants, some separation or utensils for the separation of food handling, medical care. If the household or the people in the house are infected, productivity loss. Caregiver costs, the people who are taking care of the people who are sick. Quality of life itself will be affected. For the food industry, product recall. If we have some problem in a specific product, we have to recall it back from the market. Plant closing, or the factory itself will be closed and making clean up to the whole building. Product liability, the product itself will be branding itself will be affected. Reputation costs, regulatory compliance. If someone is getting sick from a specific product in the market, he can have or making a case in the courts, and he will have some some deputy or money for the cost of this. Public health sector, we have disease surveillance. It must be done, and this is a cost. Outbreak response, how we are going to against outbreak, especially in some seasons, or some, especially in festivals or people gatherings. Inspections and cleanup. Regulatory enactment. All these are the costs of foodborne disease. So in generally, we have some symptoms for food poisoning disease, from severe vomiting, diarrhea, exhaustion, headache, fever, abdominal pain, and tiredness. If you are going to want to prevent food spoilage and contamination and the poisoning, this is a takeaway home message. It is illegal to sell food that has passed its use by date, so you have to check the date of manufacture and the date of expiry. Dented or blown or rusted cans of food should not be purchased. If you see any change or deterioration of the can itself, you don't buy this product. Frozen food which has frozen together in the bag should not be purchased, because if the frozen itself of the bag itself, or the content is frozen together and sticky together, this means it has thawed and frozen multiple times. This means it has no value, and it might be contaminated. Don't buy food where the packaging has been damaged. If the package itself is damaged or cut, only shop in clean and hygienic stores. That transporting the food back home, if you want to take it home, buy chilled and frozen foods at the end of the shopping trip. Don't take it and make your shopping trip with your food, because um, uh, it will be a hazard. Keep frozen and chilled food cold by using cool boxes, bags if available, and packaging these types of food together. You make because you will make them cooler together, and they maintain the low temperature of them together. Cooked and uncooked foods should be kept separated. Don't mix between cooked and uncooked with your grocery. Dry and moist foods should be packed separately. Household chemicals should be packed separately also, because chemicals contain hazards of contamination or poisoning to your food. Sorting of food in home. Food should be unpacked as soon as possible. Old stocks of food should be used before buying new ones. First in, first out theory, in your refrigerator. First tomato in, first tomato out. First cucumber in, first cucumber out. Store food in the correct place. Dry food in cool, dry, clean places, and chilled food in the refrigerators. Lastly, we can have some highlights on most common bacterial foodborne illness. As we all of us must have been affected by some foodborne illness once or twice in lifetime. Bacteria like Clostridium botulinum, or we call it Clostridium, source: fish, meat, dust, soil, and vegetables. Inadequately processed canned meat, vegetable, and fish. Faulty canning, or there is a fault in canning of the food, making anaerobic condition, giving the chance for Clostridium botulinum to grow up and release its toxins. Signs and symptoms: onset from 12 to 36 hours, voice change, double vision, dropping eyelids, severe constipation. As you can see here, most of the symptoms are due to the toxin ingestion. This within a week or a slow recovery over months. We have a theory, they say small few milligrams of Clostridium botulinum toxin can kill the people of China. Bacteria like Campylobacter, sources, raw and undercooked poultry, unpasteurized milk. So we have to pasteurize milk, even if we buy raw milk, if we like to buy raw milk. Contaminated water. Signs and symptoms from 2 to 5 days, can be longer: fever, headache, dizziness for a few hours, followed by the abdominal pain. This is usually lasts for 2 to 7 days and can recover over a number of weeks. Clostridium perfringens also, we have animal and human waste, contamination, dust, soil and vegetables, raw meat, insects. All these are including the sources. Signs and symptoms from 12 to 80 hours, abdominal pain, diarrhea, and nausea. This usually lasts from half day to 2 days. Clostridium perfringens forms spores, and the spores are considered the source of foodborne. E. coli number 157, sources raw and undercooked meat and poultry, unwashed vegetables, contaminated water, especially if we have some mix between sewage water and our drinking water. This will cause a contamination of water, especially people who are consuming wells water or springs water. Signs and symptoms: onset usually from 3 to 4 days, diarrhea, which may contain blood, can lead to kidney failure or death because the kidney is the target organ for the E. coli. Bacteria Salmonella, and it is the main source of Salmonella is poultry, egg, and raw meat, flies, people, sewage, and contaminated water. Signs: onset from 6 to 48 hours, headache, general itching of limbs, abdominal pain and diarrhea, vomiting and fever. This usually lasts from 1 to 7 days and rarely is fatal. So don't wash your chickens. This is one of my recommendation. Not underwater. Sources: human, of Staphylococcus aureus, which is called the dust microbe. The nose, the mouth, the skin, untreated milk, usually from the food utilizers or food workers. Signs and symptoms from 1 to 6 hours, severe vomiting, abdominal pain, weakness, and lower than normal temperature. This usually lasts from 6 to 24 hours. Listeria, unpasteurized milk and dairy products, cooked shell food, baked meat, poultry, and salad vegetables. Signs from 1 to 70 days, range from mild flu-like illness to meningitis, septicemia, pneumonia. During pregnancy may lead to miscarriage or birth of an infected baby. So it is transplacented. Bacteria Bacillus cereus. The source is rice and cereals, dust, soil, and vegetables. Signs and symptoms ranges nausea, vomiting, abdominal cramps, and has an incubation period from 1 to 6 hours. This usually lasts less than 24 hours after onset. Bacillus cereus forms spores and releases toxins which cause illness. So lastly, as I'm becoming boring now, take away home messages, reduction to reduce or to make reduction the risk of food poisoning. Follow these simple rules. Always follow use by dates, first in, first out. Store food correctly, either cold or hot, never warm. Separate raw and cooked food. Wash fruit and vegetables. Thoroughly cook food and to make it well done, because well done will kill mostly the hazards of infection. Keep yourself and your workspace clean. Don't cough or sneeze over food. Thoroughly wash and dry hands regularly. Um Finally, I have finished my plate, and I wish my presentation wasn't boring enough to you. Thank you very much for your listening. Thank you, One Health Commissions. Thank you, Dr. Randa, and thanks to um, all the audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you very much. Your plate was balanced diet actually, so we had everything. So thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. I think we have some hands up already for questions.
Okay.
Yeah. So sorry, we are going to take
Okay.
Dr. Ochuko. Please, can you unmute and ask your question, sir?
Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. It was quite nourishing. Without wasting time, I just need a clarification between expiry dates and best before.
Sorry
Thank you.
again. Between what and what?
Expiry date, the expiry date of a product and best before. Because I'm speaking from Nigeria, there are some products you take, you see best before so day, and some you see expiry date. So I want to know the difference between the two
Okay.
of them.
Okay. Okay. Expiry date means this after this date, this product in generally will not be can't be consumed or can't be handled or can't be used. Best before best before means this product you will have its full nutritive value if you consume it before the date we mentioned. But after this, the nutritive value will decrease. You will not take 100% of its protein, for an example. But it will not contain no hazards for you or for your health. But expiry date you will have if you consume it after the expiry date, you will have hazards in your health due to contamination, due to the validity of the feed additives or the coloring agents was used in this product.
Mm. Doctor,
Thank you
I
very much. Thank you
You are
okay.
welcome.
very much.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for that. So I am going to ask this question too, and my own is also from my own place. Point of view actually. So there is this saying in my place that a small disease cannot kill an African man, or a small disease cannot kill a black man. So sir, do we have any, like, can race be a factor for food poisoning or food infection, like race or skin color, for
No,
example? Okay.
there is no race against food poisoning or foodborne disease. I consider myself as an Egyptian, and I am African too. We have the same say. We say that Egyptians are not vulnerable, or they are against foodborne disease. This is not true. We just say this because I think we have many factors or many hazards are around us. That's why we consume meat and meat byproducts or poultry boiled, because boiling is one of the ways to kill all the factors or all the hazards around us. This contamination affects all the human in a way or another. Um, no race or this theory is not right. No race is against the hazards of foodborne disease.
Oh, thank you very much. Dr. Rodriguez, can you please unmute and ask your question? Dr. Jiva, please. Dr. Jiva Rodriguez. Okay. So,
Okay, seems not available.
yeah. Randa, do we have any question from the chat box? Okay. Okay, we have Thete.
Lindo? Okay.
Yeah. Lindu, please.
Is there any question?
Yeah, we have Thete. Lindu, please.
Okay, so after that we will read a question from the chat box.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lindy. I'm from South Africa, in Pretoria, per se. So, thank you so much for such an informative session for today, from the today's people who are talking from today. I think the questions that I have, I think it's mainly addressed to Dr. Mohammed. So, this is a very interesting topic, actually. But I think I wanted to find out if is there any ISO accredited standards, maybe that is recognized by WHO, especially that talks to the mycotoxins to say this is the correct way that we should be implementing when we're preparing our food to prevent all these mycotoxins and all these diseases that comes with food poisoning. Because I'm more concerned about when you are implementing the canning process and the drying process, whether you're using the oven drying process or whether you're using a sun dry process, especially for your vegetables. And I think there is another product, a very good product, which is called kombuka. I don't know if everyone knows about it, which is a very good product, but apparently it's not very good for people who have who are immune compromised. So these are the questions that I would like maybe someone from the food safety perspective to address them and see how can we get help from it. Thank you.
You are welcome. I think we have ISO 9001, 9002, which concerning food hygiene food practice production. For the mycotoxins itself, the problem is complex, but the solution is simple. Because the problem is coming from agriculture itself, as fungal or toxin releasing bacteria are growing on the plants itself, and they die, but they are leaving the toxins on the plants and then harvesting them and going to process. As you can see, we say we from agriculture, preparation and consumption. The most high risks are preparation and agriculture, which we cannot have supervision over it as a food hygienist, but as a regulators or as governmental issues, we can make regulation for these.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thete, are you clear, please? Okay. Randa, please, can you read up from the chat box?
Yes, sure. Actually, Professor Khafier has shared with us a data application. Please, we would like to ask the audience to check the chat box. Also, there's a question to Dr. Mohammed Abdrabbo. Do you have any paper that quantifies the burden of foodborne diseases of animal source foods? Kindly share if you have any paper in that area. So maybe we will share, Professor Muhammad, your email address, and then he can reply back to you. Is that okay with you, Onga?
It's okay, but Dr. Randa, but it's a huge topic because, as we mentioned in the presentation, we have many sources of foodborne disease, either toxins or animal source or bacterial source. Um, what kind of source he needs? I'm glad to help anyone. He can contact me, and I will reply him for sure.
Thank you so much, Dr. Muhammad. Thank you so much for your awesome presentation. The mic back is for you, Mr. Amino.
Okay, Randa. Thank you very much, Dr. Randa. I want to ask, can we have your presentation today? Okay. Yes. Yes, okay. I think we can. All right. So, we are just going to rush with our last presentation for today, which is going to come from our amazing leader, who is one of our leaders, or who is our leader in the One Health Social Science, Food Safety, and Food Security Small Working Group. Randa has been leading us very well, actually. So Dr. Randa is a veterinarian, and she is a One Health enthusiast and a member of the working group on youth and engagement on AMR. So today, Randa will be speaking to us about One Health and youth voices. I'm a youth, and I know we have many youth here, or maybe all of us are youth. So, Randa, can you please take us through? Over to you, Doc.
Actually, Amino dear, we may have this presentation for tomorrow because today's presentation are heavy load. So yes, maybe tomorrow before closing our training, we will discuss briefly for 10 minutes about the role of youth and One Health at the same in One Health. And
Amazing.
but before yes, so please accept my apology that we may delay it for tomorrow.
Okay.
And yeah, thank you, dear. And also, we would like to ask from the attendee if to write down your email address and your full name in the chat box for the attendant, just to uh, just to check the attendance later on. Thank you.
Yeah. So while we write our names in the chat box, I think Professor Marcella can come in for the closing remarks. Prof.
Hey, thanks, Aminu. Well, thanks to everyone to be part of this One Health training. We'll be glad to see you tomorrow at the same time to have the third and last day of this wonderful training. Have a nice day, and we will be waiting for you. Bye bye.